All right, what is up? It is Monday, 6:32 a.m. Mountain. That is 8:32 EST, and the market is going to open in about an hour. And it's the beginning of the week, so we do have some calendar events to watch, especially in the Forex markets. However, of course, Forex markets affect the dollar, and the dollar affects everything you're trading with. It's crypto, whether it's stocks, whether it is whatever. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at those. Let's jump right into the content. We can talk about what Algo Factory does a little bit later. First, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the events here. Okay, so let me broaden the screen out. Okay, today, Monday, April 1st, we have manufacturing PMI. Okay, so that is just some manufacturing data from the US, and that happens in about an hour and a half, right as this show ends. That's when this data comes out. So we'll keep an eye out for that. And then we have tomorrow for the euro, some CPI data from Germany, which Germany is the powerhouse of Europe. So that just happened overnight. So if you're in any day trades early Tuesday morning in the US or just midday. Now, this is an all-day event, by the way, so whatever happens there, it's not like you can really time it very well. So I probably would not be day trading the euro on Tuesday at all. On Tuesday at 10 AM EST, there's Jolt's job openings, and I believe is this a monthly number? Let's take a look. Why is this not interesting? What's going on here with our website? I was going to look at some data, but for some reason the website is not working. We will pass forward on that. Wednesday, non-farm employment change, and I believe that is a monthly look. Let's see here. Yeah. January, March, 4th. So it's it looks like it's like every 6 weeks or so. This could have an impact. This is going to be 8:15 EST, about 15 minutes before this show starts. And then the same data that's coming out today, except for services and not manufacturing, is going to happen. And then just let me see, that'll be 10 EST. And then right after noon, Fed Chair Powell is going to speak. And anytime Powell speaks, even if it's not to do with, the Fed funds rate or whatever, he will have an effect on markets. People are going to just hyper intensely look at what he is saying, and he can move markets depending on what he's saying. And we have seen, a lot of pauses, a lot of things not happening. And so the entire market is kind of poised and looking for him to say something regarding when the cuts are going to happen or if they're going to change the stance. So day trading on Wednesday might be tricky until he is done talking. Okay. I wouldn't mind catching some of the volatility from the non-farm employment change for a day trade. But once Fed Chair Powell speaks, that can make a difference. I don't worry too much about swing trades though with this kind of stuff, because swing trades, they are not quite as affected in the same way. And a swing trade is just a higher time frame trade. It's like when you're in a trade for maybe instead of you're in a trade for a few hours, you're in a trade for a few days, and that just gives price to move around, a chance to move around a lot. And so if you're kind of a new trader, or let's just say you're trading and you have a full-time job, which is a good thing if you ask me, swing trades are awesome. You can just watch your trade develop over, a whole day, and then you can come home at work and enter the trade, and it just market moves at the right pace for that. Swiss CPI the next morning, and unemployment claims on Thursday, which is not that big of a deal. The unemployment claims right now, we see a lot of backward revision on those, meaning that these claims seem to be aiming towards dollar strong, right? Like, oh, the unemployment's low, and then like maybe a week or two later, they go back and say, oh, we got it wrong, but it's like really quietly done. So I don't think that's going to really affect markets. I mean, I wouldn't be in a day trade right as this comes out, but right after it comes out, I probably would be fine with that. You got a couple of events here where FOMC members are talking, but you know what? I mean, they have it listed as a medium impact event. I don't worry too much about those. You might get messed up if you're kind of just scalping or day trading, but I wouldn't worry about that personally. Then we got Friday. Friday has some more data coming out. Unemployment non-farm hourly earnings, all starting right as this show begins 8:30 EST. I would not be trading the USD CAD that day because there's Canadian data coming out too. But once this data comes out, I'd say a good 20 minutes after that or so. It depends on, the charts are going to tell me when. I'm just kind of talking about how long it usually takes. 15, 20 minutes, the market kind of digests everything, and whatever money was hanging out waiting for this to happen is like back in the market. And Friday might be like a nice day to trade for the first. I usually don't trade after 12 noon on Friday. Everything's kind of shutting down, but I like to scalp on Fridays because Friday's a chill day. It's like I love Fridays. It's great. Friday's great. So that's what the data looks like. So we got a handful of people in here. If you have questions, I believe if you're watching this on X, I believe you can now comment and ask questions. We had one of our users do that recently. So now, of course, we have a few people watching on YouTube, so feel free to ask questions in there. Let me go ahead and share this link around. I never did that. I meant to share this link around. And while I'm doing that, go ahead and figure out what you want me to chart. I'm going to start with Bitcoin though. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart, probably Ethereum, Solana. Just do those kind of basic ones. But if anybody has any specific charts they want to see, stocks, ETFs, whatever. The thing about technical trading and what's really cool about that is that you can pretty much chart anything. Now you have to be careful because each each asset class does have its quirks, right? Like just like the Forex market, those economic events can have some effect, and those economic events can have effect on everything, and they will. The bigger ones will. They'll affect stocks, they'll affect crypto, everything. But in general, those economic data drops are going to affect the Forex market, right? And then you have, say like stocks, you have to know when the splits are going to happen. You have to know when, payroll or not payroll, what do you call it? Profit, earnings. That's the word I'm looking for. You have to know when earnings are coming out, stuff like that. With options, you have to know when the expiry is, the expiration date. So yeah, you do have to know all that stuff. The indexes are kind of nice because in a way, if you are trading indexes, you do have the opportunity to not worry quite as much about those. However, if you're looking at an index that is being carried by, if it's being carried by like one or two companies, then the indexes would be affected by that. Or if you're looking at, say, like the NASDAQ index, then, what happens with something like Nvidia might have a lot to do with it, So, okay, we got a request from John. Wants to see Solana, Jupiter, and Bitcoin. We'll start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, it's just bullish. To look at the algos, I'm going to hit some buttons on the screen here, and it's going to make the screen look crazy. And I'm just looking at some data here on the bottom there, so don't let that scare you. When we build algorithms, we use mathematical data. And even though that stuff looks pretty crazy at the bottom of the screen, it's actually not that big of a deal. I'm going to look at basically the daily chart on Bitcoin. And what's interesting about Bitcoin, overall, it's bullish, right? It is bullish overall. And this is something we've talked about numerous times, but Bitcoin has a 4-year halving cycle. That halving is when the rewards for making a Bitcoin, for signing a Bitcoin transaction, right? That's how new Bitcoin is created. So if you're a miner, you're contributing to the completion and signing of a Bitcoin transaction. Okay. And when you do that, you're rewarded with a small piece of Bitcoin. And that is how new Bitcoin is created. And that's why miners mine. And that's how Bitcoin works. And so that halving reward is cut in half every 4 years. And what that does is that decreases the amount of new Bitcoin coming into the market. And that pushes the price of Bitcoin upwards, right? This is a demand and supply thing. This is a scarcity thing. That halving happens in less than a month. It's going to be in about 2.5 weeks. I put a yellow line basically where that is. Now, typically before each halving, of which we have only seen 3 or 4, we tend to see a drop of 20 to 30%. We've seen one of about 17.5%. That pre-halving pullback has already been seen. What is new is that we have seen an all-time high prior to the halving, right? Past couple of halvings did not see that. That didn't happen until after the halving. So we did see Bitcoin really, really extend pretty far before the halving. one argument could be that, oh, that was such a crazy extension, it might need to pull back more, and that is quite possible. What we have seen now is that Bitcoin made this all-time high, right? Let me go to John real quick. Are you one of our Algo Factory members? Let us know, because I might, if you are, I might continue some of these charts in the private room as we have time. So let me know if you are part of it. But this massive extension made an all-time high of about 74,000, like right below that. And then there was a pullback, and now price tried to approach that high again. I can tell you high time frame, Bitcoin is absolutely bullish, right? But there are a lot of times where in the meantime, even though Bitcoin is very bullish, okay, John, then we'll, I might get into some of these charts in the private. I know V the Gorilla likes to see Solana, so we might do that in there. Anyway, so the point here, though, is that Bitcoin tried to make this high again, rejected. Now, so far, it's rejected. It doesn't mean that it won't pull out of this current move, right? So it could easily go ahead and actually pull out of this. But for the moment, what it's doing is it is creating a range up here. It's creating a consolidation. And it's a decently defined consolidation. And trying to short this has not worked out too well. I tried to short it once a couple of days ago, and then I tried it again with a very small trade, and it just blew me out of the water. So I'm not right now very interested in shorting Bitcoin, unless it's right at the top of this this consolidation range here. So what I would look at this as, whichever way price pops out of this is going to tell us quite a bit. Price is bullish. However, price also has met a bit of a resistance. So we could see a pullback to gather more liquidity prior to the halving. And until this comes out of this consolidation, it's going to be difficult to really determine how that's going to look. That's how it is right now. That's what the algos say. High time frame bullish, mid time frame consolidating, right? Let's get the gorilla in here. Gorilla, how are you, sir?
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning, yeah.
I'm doing quite good, Laos. How are you?
I'm good. Just doing a few charts, trying to figure out what Bitcoin's going to do next. And it's in the middle of a consolidation. It's going to come down or not.
What is it at right now? 68,000? 69?
That's at about 69.7.
Oh, yeah. We'll consolidate now, right? We'll probably consolidate to 68. If we don't consolidate to 68, we're going to 63, but no lower than that. And then we're going to be
Scottish? What's your accent right now?
I am a Scottish Irishman with a half Welsh accent.
Okay. That checks out. That checks out.
Oh, man. Good morning, all you savages.
I was telling an Irish joke to a guy who was half Irish and half Scottish, and I screwed up and I did the Scottish accent, and I did it really well. And he goes, yeah. He says, well, that's a great joke, except you pissed all over the accent. Oh, man. Yeah, man. So what's up, dude? We're glad you... Look, here's the thing, folks. V the Gorilla is our intel base here. This guy knows what is going on around the world because V does massive Bitcoin and gold deals around the world. So when you talk to people at that level, you get a lot of intel. And so, I do a lot of the technical, and of course I have intel too, but I'm not connected as V is. My connection is V to the big money. So, we do get to hear a lot of great stuff. We usually talk about that in the private group, which does start in 15 minutes. But in the meantime, yeah, Bitcoin is at 69,700. That's where it's at. And what I'm seeing here is it's either going to grab some liquidity and then go back up, or it's just going to pop up to the upside. And neither would surprise me. We got the halving coming up right now. So if you want to wait to the private group to share your thoughts on that.
When is it halving again? It's April.
Let me see. The last estimate, I seem to remember it being the 19th, but let's look at what it says. Let's see, 2024. Bitcoin. I'm looking on a different screen, folks. Like I said, it's an estimate, right? Let's see, Representative Marsh. Bitcoin halving prediction. April 19th. That's the That's the estimation. That's the quote unquote schedule.
I think we want to get hit with a copyright strike because we just hummed the Mario Brothers song.
Super Mario Brothers theme.
Just kidding.
All right, cool. God, man, dude, I'm gonna tell you something. When I was 6 and we got a Nintendo, and Super
Yeah.
Mario Brothers was, dude, I will never forget the smell of
Of the
opening
NES.
up the NES.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm talking about? Like you open
Yep.
up that box, you pull the NES out, and you just smell inside with that styrofoam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that smell forever is magic, dude.
Yeah, it is.
That's just because you know we had Ataris, we had in-home consoles, but Nintendo just took it to a totally different level. I mean, we had ColecoVision and stuff. My brother had one of those. He's older
Oh
than
my
me.
God. Yeah.
Did you have one of those?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
I became privy to video games with Atari 2600, and then the NES was a leap above the 2600, an absolute leap.
I had a 1200. I had an Atari 1200.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then I went to got that Nintendo, and you know we didn't know anything back then. Screens bad for you, all that. Dude, I played that damn thing. Dude, I remember the first time that I knocked Mike Tyson out in the Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah. Oh, I
Dude,
was screaming, man. I did that too. I was like, oh my God, I was like the greatest accomplishment of my life. That's what it felt like.
that's what it felt like, dude. Yeah, I was like, I remember running outside and telling all my friends, I knocked out Mike Tyson. Like, I knocked him down and even knock him out. Just a knockdown, dude.
Yeah.
God, there's a great video of Tyson. I'll have to share it maybe in the private group. I saved it on my phone. It was that good. He's talking about how this was an old interview. It's like in like the 90s. And some like famous, you know, I don't know, interviewer, Ted Koppel or whatever, I don't know. Says like, hey, you know, look at all this, man. This must mean so much to you. It was all his belts that he'd won. He goes, oh, this is nothing. This is trash. You know, he was saying how that stuff, he says, oh, it meant a lot to me at the time, but when I had children, that's really what means something to me. You know,
I thought he was gonna pull out the like his original Nintendo Entertainment System and the copy of Mike Tyson's Punch Out and be like, this is the most important thing in my life. This right here is my greatest accomplishment.
It's my greatest accomplishment. They made me to a video game. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I go to Mike Tyson, sometimes I just start to sound like an old tired guy from New York. This is great. This is, you know, it's amazing. So yeah, anyway, Bitcoin, looking at the chart, it's just, and V, you're going to probably tell us in the private group what you think, but it's either going to pop down and then up, or it's going to pop up. I don't know. You know, we've seen
it could
a
be
pullback
anything
that is commensurate with a pre-halving pullback. I mean, it's close enough, if you ask me. So let's take a look. What's that?
I said T-right.
T-right. Let's look at Jupiter. Jupe US.
You want to Jupiter with the Jupiter.
Oh, beautiful, man. Yeah, I got Jupiter back, and I told my all of our private members when I was buying Jupiter too, and I think I got it like around $1-ish, you know. And yeah, it's up. It's almost doubled that. I hit my first target. Like if I was actually just trading Jupiter, not buying and holding it, it did hit the first target. So, and this target I talked about in public live labs. So look, if you all are watching these shows, like I did this for everybody to see, right? So if somebody was just like trading and wanted to know some targets, I talk about this stuff. But when I buy and hold something, or if I'm taking it in actual live trade, I usually only share that with the private group. But we're not a signal service. It's not what we do. You know, what we do is we teach people how to build algorithms so that they can trade, right? And then they can pull money out of the market themselves. However, if I do see a trade that I like, I share that for educational purposes, right? So we do it all the time. Yeah, this is a beautiful look right here, right? So I really very likely see this popping up to $1.97. I think Jupiter, it's newer than Radium. Radium was a great win as well. But yeah, to answer John, your question there, I think $1.97 is next. And this is you know, in order to see what might happen after this $1.97, if it does happen, I'd have to see a pullback so I could do some more measurements. So until then, it's just in price discovery, and like anything can happen. I mean, a 1-to-1 measured move from bottom to top here of the of this extension, by the way, it's, you know, the fib that I'm looking at here is only from, say, this pure move from here to here, right? So there's actually more room to go up if we look at this as a broader move. But I wanted to keep this kind of pure, without trying to do high time frame silliness, right? So I would look at it like a $2 just below that target for the near term. And then after that, once I see a pullback, once price pulls back, I can give you some more data on Jupiter. But until then, it's just whatever, sky's the limit kind of thing. It's an exchange token. So a lot of those in their first year so far, like say, what do you call it, like Uniswap, stuff like that. I think that went to like 6 something its first cycle initially. It might have gone higher than that after that, but I remember 650 kind of being an important number. So I mean, if we're just comparing them, that's like an easy kind of reference, like $5 or $6 realistically. But I mean, in the current market with all this money flooding in, this could be like way, way bigger. Let's look at Solana. I know V wants to see Solana.
Solana.
Solana. Oh, look at that. Look at that. The move up that I talked about happening. It happened a little earlier. I remember this was just one of many things that could happen that I drew, but I did see a pop up to the upside, and there it is right there for you. With Solana, I already have my targets measured out. So I mean, this not much to talk about. If price can break above its local high of 210, then I see it going to 255. Now 260-ish is its all-time high, so price might encounter a little bit of resistance, and this is all going to depend on what's happening with Bitcoin in general. Now this might be not a bad place to take a move. It's if Bitcoin goes down, it might pull some Solana with it, but Bitcoin has been pretty stable for a number of days, and that seems to be letting money flow into the alts, right? Because that's just kind of the typical way that it's worked. Bitcoin chills out, money goes to the alts, people speculate over there, then the froth builds up, then maybe profits get taken on alts, Bitcoin makes a move one way or the other. It's just kind of the cycle. Right now, it does look like Solana might break out, but it might not break out as quickly as we think. It is encountering a little bit of resistance here. And this is actually similar on some other coins as well. This look, and just in crypto in general, where it's popped out and then it's come back down. It might fake out breakout and get back into this consolidation, or it might not. It might or might not. That's kind of where it is right now. I wouldn't long this. I mean, I would buy and hold, certainly. I'd be very much about buying and holding, but I don't know that I would go long on this, right? So let's take a quick look before we move to private at, let's see. I did a great video, by the way. Actually, it's real popular. It's getting a lot of hits right now on Ondo. So Ondo is really interesting. If you're not watching the YouTube videos that I do on I'll just do like a 10-minute video. You see how similar this look was to Solana, right? Let's go back to Solana really quick. Okay. You see how price popped up and then came back down? Now look at Ondo. So you're going to see how a lot of these altcoins kind of move in unison. You see that? Same pop up, same move down. Now I did a whole video on Ondo, and right now it's below $1. And I think if Bitcoin goes down, Ondo might go down as well. However, Ondo is super strong, and Ondo is a really cool coin, in my opinion. It's working with. I mean, I'll just go to their website just to show you what's going on with Ondo. Watch the video. Watch the video. I haven't bought any Ondo yet. I'm waiting for, the algos to give me a chance. I'm actually kind of hoping it goes down a bit before I purchase it. To be honest with you. Come on, Ondo.
Can I buy goat curry with Ondo?
Yes.
Then I will buy the Ondo.
Yes. It's actually meant for goat curry. It's the entire purpose of Ondo.
My God. To make the smart contracts for goat curry.
That's right.
Brilliant.
Goat contracts.
I love it.
Okay, so there we go, finally. Institutional grade finance now on chain. Exceptional partners, superior assets. This is RWAs. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing on here. Just go watch the video. But I mean, you've got like where's their partners? Let's see if we can find it. Partners. I mean, shoot, they got Bybit, BlackRock. See this here? This might be hard to see. Zoom in. I'm going to tell you right now, Ondo, I think, has a bright future. Now, I don't know if we're at the best entry for Ondo. I think it might go down a bit. If I were buying and holding, I might just pick up a little bit, which I am buying and holding. But I also have the ability to, pick a good entry too. So, but you got BlackRock, right? Chainlink, humongous. Just so you all know, Chainlink is like, I've talked about Chainlink in the private group. And if I didn't own Chainlink right now, I would be making a mistake, right? It's not moving like other coins right now, which is a good thing. It's giving us some time to get in. First Citizens Bank. I'm going to tell you about First Citizens Bank a little bit, okay? I used to have accounts there. If they had branches where I live, I would. First Citizens Bank was one of the two banks that was able to buy up what was left over from Silicon Valley Bank. And First Citizens Bank is one of the banks that never took, they didn't take money, or at least they didn't take a lot of it when the great financial crisis hit. And they were allowed to buy those distressed assets because they don't take unreasonable risks. They're not out there trying to do like so many predatory banks are and take those kind of crazy money risks that other banks were taking prior to the great financial crisis. And when that hit, their books stayed solid, and they actually were one of the primary banks allowed to take on a lot of these rehabilitational, type books of business. So First Citizens is a great bank out of North Carolina, and North Carolina, I believe, excludes New York banks. Like they're kind of it seems to me and V, this is more your territory than mine, but it seems like North Carolina is like telling the New Yorkers, get out. Like,
you mean the regional banks?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I haven't got a chance to look at it. I won't be able to tell you.
You got Jupiter. You got other DEXs. MetaMask institutional. That's big. Polygon, of course.
Orca.
You see Orca?
Yeah. Right there,
Right, where the hell is that?
Down. To the left. Up. Stop going so fast, man.
First user-friendly cryptocurrency exchange built on Solana. Okay, I didn't know that existed.
Solana.
We got Solana right there. Solana's a partner. Radium Protocol is a partner. I mean, you got kind of the who's who right now, including BlackRock. BlackRock's a partner, folks. Like them or not, BlackRock is a freaking
I love
beast.
BlackRock.
I mean, like them or not, they are a beast.
I love to short the hell out of them.
But yeah, so Ondo's not one to sleep on. And go watch the video. I go in a little bit more depth as to where I think price is going to go.
He goes in depth like his name was Johnny.
Johnny Depth. All right, cool, man. Well, V, sir.
All right, guys, listen. You're sitting on the sidelines. You're watching this free tutorial. And you're like, this is really informative. This is really cool. These guys are covering a lot of good stuff. It's engaging. It's entertaining. Here's the deal. You want all of it. You want the uncensored. You want the raw, unbridled truth. You want to know how this whole thing works. You want to know there's nobody else out there that has a better view of the globe, of the markets, of where we are, where we're going, and how to get ahead of the chaos. Because chaos is coming. Pain is coming. And I'll tell you right now, Algo Factory is the calm before the storm. And I'm telling you right now, folks, listen, join us right now. Click the link in the description box. Scan that QR code. Be part of the most radiant, vibrant, most intelligent trading community on God's green earth. And don't sit there and let this pass you by. Because let me tell you something. Before it all goes to shit, the last shoe to drop is the markets. And even then, the markets will still be functioning. Because trade still needs to happen, folks. Trade still needs to happen.
Well, that's how the rich people make their money and move their money. You think that's going anywhere?
Ain't going nowhere, man. Ain't going nowhere.
Not likely.
Now, some of the industries you work in currently might be going bye-bye because of automation. But trading will still be there, folks. It'll still be there. And with that being said, follow us over at Cowboy. Take us away. And it will, by the way, $1.66 a day. $1.66 a day is less than the price of a bottle of water. I used to say less than the price of a cup of coffee. No, it's cheaper than a bottle of water, man. That's where we are. Cowboy, take us out.
Join us or die.